Summer Lane tore down an abandoned alley with her stainless steel necklace bouncing off her chest. She glanced back to check her lead. It was down to half what it was a few minutes ago. Somehow, the Hunger Gang had closed ground, increasing their foot speed as hers started to wane. Faster, faster, she convinced herself, pushing her feet close to their tripping point. Good thing she was young and in shape, her thighs still able to drive her rail-thin legs, even after a mile of this unexpected chase. She tucked the keepsake inside her sweatshirt, not wanting it to shake loose. It was all she had to prove who she was and where she belonged, both of which might just keep her alive, depending on who might capture her or check her allegiance. Trash from the abandoned metro area seemed to be everywhere, crowding her path like roving anti-personnel mines, if that was even a thing. She didn't know. History wasn't her strong suit. Neither was following the rules. The refuse blew around in clumps, nestling around other objects she had to dodge. Yet, despite its abundance, its stench was long gone, as were the flies and maggots, much like the horde of citizens that used to occupy the city. Summer made a hard left, angling her body to fight the inertia of her sprint as she raced across the frozen landscape, dodging the snow flurries smacking her in the face. The sting in her legs grew with every step she took, but it still wasn't as wicked as the pain in her chest. The frigid air seared her lungs with each gasp, burning with the force of a Titan II missile. Right then, her mind flashed a video from her childhood, something that stuck in her memories all these years. A fiery missile launch from an underground silo, shooting high into the sky to deliver its devastating payload on some poor, unsuspecting target. When this chase first began, Summer only needed to take in air every 3 steps, adding distance between her and the gang on her heels. However, now her breaths were down to a single stride, meaning her speed would continue to fail. The uphill jaunt wasn't helping either, not with a backpack strapped on and Mother Nature's unrelenting howl thrashing her face. Right on cue, the hoodie across her head blew back from another gust of wind. Her hands went up, yanking it back into place for the 3rd time in the last minute. She made a sharp right, turning down another corridor she'd never trekked before, her mind changing its focus to the neon scarf atop her head. What a total screw-up. Who in their right mind would choose a bright red bandana on a day like today, with a hunger gang in the area? There were plenty of choices in her backpack, all different colors and styles. What was she thinking? Just bad luck, she thought to herself, as she vaulted over a soiled cardboard box with the word U-Haul stenciled on it. The airborne feeling didn't last long, but while it did, she felt like an Olympic hurdler clearing the obstacle with precision. Some might have plowed through the container, landing a shoe on its exterior, but she knew better. Any kind of object could be hiding inside, leaving her with a twisted ankle. An injury like that would mean death, as would most other failures that might occur during one of her seeker missions. Summer peered back over her shoulder, catching a glimpse of the pursuers. Only a few hundred yards stood between her slender frame and those with knives drawn and bellies empty. Experience had taught her that when starvation fuels adrenaline, a hunger gang's speed and endurance increase, mostly out of necessity, but also from desire, 2 closely related motives. Sure, some of her cohorts in the silo thought the scabs chasing her were no longer human, simply because frostbite had taken the ends of their noses. Yet they were, even with their ravenous eyes leading the charge. Somehow, they'd locked onto her tracks. She'd gotten careless, downright lazy. There were rules, and those rules existed for a reason. Seekers, like her, must never assume an area was clear of predators, but yet she had.